the sound of the bell. Remember the sound of the bell? I'll read you the poem. Ummon said, "The world is vast and wide. Why do you put on a sevenfold robe at the sound of the bell?" So imagine a different situation to here. So Ummon is speaking to a congregation of monks, which include men and women, who wear their robes, as you would at any training centre, as we do at Crosby. I think we wear them morning, Taisho, that's at lunchtime, afternoon and evening. Sometimes we have afternoons off. So he's saying to these people who put their robes on 4 times a day, why, when the bell rings, do you put on your sevenfold robe? It shouldn't seem, it seems pretty obvious, doesn't it, why you do, because you... Anyway. So I've broken this into 4 sections. So the first section is, the world is vast and wide. The second one is, why? The third one is the sevenfold robe, and the fourth one is the sound of the bell. So the world is vast and wide. So what do you think when he says the world is vast and wide, which is a favourite phrase of Tenshin's, what does he mean by the world is vast and wide? What does that mean? I mean, I know what it means geographically, but what does it mean from this perspective? The world is vast and wide.
Well, I mean, in one sense, it's a description of samsara, isn't it? It's everything is in constant flux.
Yeah.
You know.
It's good you've gone that side, John. That's the wrong side. The samsaric side is the wrong side.
Oh, is it the wrong side?
The wrong side, yeah. The world is vast and wide.
For me, there's plenty to do. There's lots of stuff out there.
There's plenty to do,
going
yeah.
on, you know.
Yeah.
You can be doing that while you're doing this.
But what does it, if it's vast and wide, what does it say about the very basic essence, the very ground of our being?
You are vast and wide. Your life is vast and wide.
Yeah.
Everything you're doing is part of that.
Okay.
What is that?
Is it about the world being more than just the restrictedness of the form?
Yeah.
The emptiness as well, which
Yeah.
is boundless. And,
That's right, yeah. Yeah, that's right. So that's exactly what Suzanne says, right. Anyway, within the Buddhist tradition, our original nature is free and open. You know, it's not limited. We limit it, but it is not limited. So when we say its original form is open and free, when we say the world is vast and wide, this is another way of a description of the absolute, represents the absolute. The world is vast and wide. So, is anybody, and this is a tricky question, it's rather not fair of me to ask you, because I've had some time to write it down, but what is this, can I say what this original nature, this absolute, this emptiness, what is it? Or rather, why can't we talk about it? There's another question. Why is, you know, there's usually silence or an irresponse to when you say, what is it? Why can't we talk about it in any meaningful sense?
Because language is limited.
Yeah. It is limited. Why is it limited?
It's only like a symbolic method of describing something, and it only depicts a part of something.
Yeah, it's intrinsically dualistic, isn't it? It has to be in a way. It has to define and separate, and it's intrinsically dualistic language.
The language has a form.
As a form, yeah. Yeah, and this doesn't have any form, the absolute, yeah.
And you can't step outside of it to
Yeah.
say that's it.
Yeah. If, I mean, and you may have had a personal experience of this, or it may be based on faith, or it may be just based on an intellectual acceptance, but if there is only this one thing, if there is only Buddha nature, if there is, and there's nothing outside of it, then that one thing cannot experience itself. It can't talk about itself. So the phenomenological experience would just be of awareness. There's no way this it that we can't talk about can't be objectively experienced. You can't be outside of it and say this is what it's like and this is what I'm like. And that's what in Buddhism they call shunyata, or emptiness, but it's not actually emptiness, because when they say the world is vast and wide, it implies that the potential for everything is present there. So, the world is vast and wide implies that all possibilities are available to all of us, except we limit ourselves. And necessarily, we have to, which is what this koan is about. The world is vast and wide, and yet, when the bell goes, we put on our 7-piece robe. Why do we do that? Why would we do that?
Because form exists as well.
Pardon? This form exists as well, yeah. Incidentally, did you know, the robes themselves represent the world is vast and wide, because the traditional robe has 4 points of the compass on it. It has the top middle is the highest point, the bottom is the lowest point, and then the lines, they represent, well, traditionally the lines of rice fields, but they represent the relative. So the robe represents this symbolic idea of the world being vast and wide. And so when you put the robe on, you're cultivating, you're implying that you're carrying the world, and at the same time that the world is carrying you. So you're carrying the world and the world is carrying you. So if you could really, and it's not easy because most of us don't live from that frame of mind, but if you really did feel that the world was carrying you, what would arise? If you really experienced the appreciation and joy of the knowledge that the world is carrying you, what would arise?
Gratitude.
Gratitude, yeah. And wouldn't there be some kind of relaxation, some kind of release, some kind of, I'm going to let go now, I don't have to take care of everything all the time. We could let go of what we're clinging to. So let's ask the question again. The world is vast and wide. Why do you put on your 7-fold robe at the sound of the bell? Why? Okay, I'll ask you another way. When the alarm clock goes in the morning, why do you get out of bed?
It's making a decision, isn't it?
Pardon?
Making a decision.
It's making a decision, yeah.
It's just what you do, isn't it?
It's what you do. It's what you do, yeah. But it's really important, because this isn't saying it's what you do on an automatic basis.
No.
It's saying why. So when so everything you do, you're saying, why am I doing this? You're not just doing it, willy-nilly. So
You're making a choice.
you're making a choice, yeah. And there's consideration involved. There's an awareness. It's not just the bell's gone, so I'm going to put my robes on. It's what does this represent? What does this mean? I'm not daydreaming. I'm putting my robes on, and I'm thinking, why am I putting them on? Or why am I getting up when the alarm clock goes? Or why do I answer the phone when the phone rings? Maybe I don't want to answer the phone when the phone rings. So the why is about being aware, and so that when you do something, you do it, with full. You fully embrace the fact that you've chosen to do it, which has a different feeling, I think, than if you do these things on automatic.
In a slightly different way, Sensei, it's that more modern ideal that if everything is one, and it's about living in the moment, why bother with all of this palaver? Zen. And
I give in.
All the fun. Me too. Why bother with it if it's all cool and all just a unity?
Yeah. Well, I think this koan is about the point where those two things come together, because if you do give yourself fully to what you're doing, the world is vast and wide. You're fully engaged with it. There isn't any separation.
Yeah, I mean,
If you do it, sorry.
So I was just going to say, like, if you look at the analogy of, say, getting up in the morning and going to work and doing that, if you're fully engaged in that and you're fully aware of that, instead of where the usual thing is, oh God, I've got to do this again. Then after that comes the appreciation of what that actually brings.
Yeah.
Enables me to live my life. I can go and buy food. I've got some choice. I can help others, and all those things come into it. And that only comes if we cultivate that awareness. Without it, we're just going on that treadmill all the time. And that can happen with putting on the robes. We're just doing this, and we're not cultivating the awareness of what that's about.
I've seen you looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Yeah, I mean, I guess we're all guilty of doing stuff on automatic or resentfully, but I think we all know the difference in quality when we decide to give ourselves to something rather than just doing it. It's an obligation or it's an expectation. Is that right? Is that what? That? So if you think of something now that you really don't like doing.
Well, I've got to say, partly that's why we suggested wearing the robes every night, because
there's a resistance to it.
There's a resistance and irritation that it's robes night, and we've got to. So it's to try and overcome that.
But maybe it's because you only do it once a month.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
If you did it all the time.
If we did it all the time, it would.
So the essence of the koan is that if you do something fully, you are part of the world, vast and wide. You're a focal point. You're a kind of manifestation, a focal of a manifestation of the world is vast and wide. I mean, you still are, even if you're doing it without awareness, you still are. But in terms of our own sense of well-being, I think it definitely helps to be fully present. Not easy.
The stuff that I don't like doing, I find that I'm very aware of the fact I don't like doing it.
Yeah.
So the stuff I like doing, I'm very aware of, but it's the stuff that I'm indifferent to that kind of, I'll I don't know, whether, walking or I don't remember actually walking down the road or, and that's the stuff that catches me out. I think, where have I been for the last 5 minutes?
Yeah.
I think the stuff I don't like, I'm very much aware of all the angst or the stuff coming up,
Yeah. It's interesting, in some traditions they invite difficulty in order to overcome the resistance to dealing with it, So, what I want to say to you, more relevantly to our practice, is why do you sometimes come to practice and why do you sometimes not? Here's a question for you. Do you give in, Maurice?
I'd rather not answer.
I'm only teasing you, but I do have it does seem to me that the benefits, that's our best way to say this, that any particular experience or title or attainment in practice or whatever, it doesn't necessarily contribute to the development of a mature practice. What contributes to the development of a mature practice is practice. Simple as that. You're doing it. If you're not doing it, then it's not maturing. It doesn't matter whether you've had a wonderful experience or whatever, or you've attained this, or you've got that title. If you're not practicing, then you're not seasoning yourself. And I don't know that there's any gainsaying that. I don't know there's any shortcut to that. I know traditionally that many of the older masters, I mean, they would be travelling around for years, they'd be 30, 40 years after realization before they began to teach. So, for any of us to expect an overnight change it can happen, but pragmatically I see that the continuity and regularity over a number of years of practice is the best way to wear away the things that trap us. And and there's no one rule for any of us, because some of us may be, we may be well wrapped in all kinds of chains and ropes and and handcuffs when we begin, so we have to unpeel more than other folk. So there's no way of measuring how you're going to be, But continuity of practice is definitely, seems to me, important. So why do you put on your 7-piece robe when the bell rings? What would be your answer?
I choose to.
Pardon?
Choose to.
You choose to? Okay. What would be a more okay? Let's rejig it. Why do you get up when the alarm clock goes?
Sorry, Sensei. Discipline.
Oh, sorry.
Discipline.
You have to say it louder.
Discipline.
Discipline. The thing about discipline is it only works when you've got some energy, doesn't it? I mean, discipline falls by the wayside when you definitely discipline can help and willpower can help, but I'm not sure in the long term that it's the answer, because when you exercise discipline and you depend on it, when you fail, you can give yourself a bad time. Do you? If I said to you, why do you get up when the alarm clock goes? How would you respond?
It's time to get up.
Pardon?
It's time to get up.
Yeah. Time to get up. You throw off the cider down, get out, get up, and get on your way. I mean, you just do. That's what you do.
Sorry. Just saying, but at the end of the day, you've set the alarm yourself.
Yeah.
So there was an intention there, wasn't
The
there?
intention is good, isn't it? Yeah. To have the intention helps, but I'm sure several people in this room have pressed the alarm button off and still not got out of bed. maybe it's not a good analogy.
I'm thinking maybe why I wake up every morning is also about fear of what will happen if I don't.
Ah, okay, yeah. No, I think that's not uncommon. Yeah. Fear, feeling of fear in the morning.
Yeah, but I think it's maybe an element of it, not like something that is.
Yeah.
I just stay.
It's not a good driver though, is it, fear? No, it's not. No. But it has to be honoured if you're feeling it, of course.
Here's another answer.
That's another answer, yeah?
Why you put on your 7-piece roll?
Yeah, because the bell went. It's a very interesting question. I think it's a fascinating question. It kind of does the whole difference between a kind of nihilistic approach and an approach that life's worthwhile. What makes the difference?
I think purpose helps.
Pardon?
Having a sense of purpose, I think, helps.
Yeah, definitely it does. Yeah, function and purpose definitely helps. I agree. Yeah.
Is it fair to say that when you just do it, you know, like the T-shirt slogan, you just do it, you're less likely to fall into the trap of dualism. As soon as you start thinking, should I, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
You're already wobbling.
You're already dead in the water, yeah.
Dead in the water.
Yeah, yeah, I know for me, like when I'm in the Lake District, if I were to make a decision about whether to go out for a run or on my bike on the basis of weather, I'd be constantly thinking, should I go, should I go? So, you know, I always go. Then I don't have to make a decision, it's easier. Just do it, was that the T-shirt? Yeah, just do it, yeah.
Thanks for that, yeah.